tonight's idea or tonight's thing I was thinking about was I was sitting across from a school in my van, which is not, by the way, not a good idea. Don't, if you're a van, especially with tinted windows, don't sit across the street from a school unless the school is closed. Thankfully, it was closed. There's still people out there that think that's strange. It definitely is kind of strange, I guess. But anyways, I was sitting there and I was looking at a swing set and, the typical stuff that you see on a playground. And then I noticed the Seesaw. Now, when I was a kid, the Seesaw was awesome. And I imagine for a lot of you it was too. It was always a pain in the ass to find somebody to ride it with you, but once you found somebody to ride it with you, it was like the best part of the day. Everybody has their own favorite, the twirly twirl thing that goes around like 90 miles an hour, kids would fall off, break their necks. They got rid of that in the 90s because of all you millennials and stuff, but that was probably one of the best ones there was. But anyways, any of those, really, you can take any of them, anything on the playground that you liked. Think about this. The last time that you rode on one, did you know that that was going to be the last time? So I can't recall the last time that I was on a Seesaw. I'm sure I've been on one as an adult, fooling around with my nephew or niece or something like that. But I haven't rode one and enjoyed it as I did as a kid, probably since I was a kid. I can't even guesstimate. I'll say that maybe I was 8 or 9 or 10. So that's almost 40 years ago or 40 years ago. Did I know that day, that after I had all that fun and my friend got up off the other side and ran away and I got off of it, and before I let go of the handle, did I know that I'm never going to do this again? Think about that. Think about something that you enjoyed, you loved, you absolutely adored doing when you were a child, or even 10 years ago. Something that you loved doing, and then one day you just didn't do it. We all think about it every once in a while. We go, man, I haven't done that in so long. And then that thought just disappears, and we don't do it. Oh, I haven't gone swimming in a river, and I don't know how long. I haven't been to this place that I used to love in so long. I haven't talked to my friend who was my friend for 15 years, but I just stopped talking to him one day, and we just never talked again. It could go for so many things, but did we know? Did we know? Yeah, of course there was that situation where as a kid you might be like, hey, I'm 8 now, 8-year-olds don't ride on seesaws, and you get up and you never went on a seesaw again. Or, you grew up and you said, hey, I don't do nightclubs anymore. I'm 30 now. I'm not a nightclub guy anymore. But the thing is, you can't do that with everything. And even if you were trying to grow up or anything like that, or you're trying to come up with an excuse for it, think about how there's just so many things that you did that at one time you absolutely loved. There was no reason to stop doing it. Maybe age, maybe a different lifestyle change, something, but you loved doing it and you stopped doing it. Why did we stop doing it? Why didn't I get out of my van today, walk across the street, and get on the Seesaw? Probably because I couldn't find anybody to do it with me, and I would have looked stranger than being in the van. I would look strange just being on a Seesaw by myself. But it's crazy to think about that. All these things that we love to do or love doing, we don't do anymore. We give up on them. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because we moved on, or because do we feel guilty? Or do we put what others are going to think about us in front of it? Like, well, I can't ride a Seesaw with my niece or nephew because I'm going to look like a fool in front of all these people. Why does that matter, though? If it gave us joy, why does it matter? We do so many things for, the approval of others or the okay of others. We all know this story. We all seek attention from everybody else. But if you seriously can think of anything, if anybody's listening to this and you can think of anything that you enjoy doing, do it tomorrow. Do it right now. Do whatever it is. Because if it makes you feel good, and as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, as long as it's not hurting anybody, including yourself, as long as it's not hurting you physically, mentally, or hurting anybody else mentally, physically, what's the harm of doing it? Are you just not doing it because of the appearance of doing it? We all need to take a step back about worrying about what people think. Especially the young crowd. I'm not saying all of you, but most of you. And I know because we were all that way. We all went through it. We all wanted the approval of others. You get to a certain age where you're just like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm wearing the same pair of jeans I wore yesterday. You just get to that point, and it's actually pretty cool. So, but why don't we do it? Where I'm from, we have a saying. A lot of people say it, and I know a lot of people say it across the country, but a lot of people say, it is what it is. And after I started thinking about this tonight, something popped into my head and it finished that little saying for me. And it said, it is what it is until it isn't. And I think about that and I said, well, that Seesaw was what it was until it wasn't. And why wasn't it anymore? And after it wasn't anymore, what did it become? What did I become? So it is what it is until it isn't. But what is it after it isn't? I don't know, maybe that's too deep, maybe it's just gibberish, but I just think about all these things that I've done in my life that I enjoyed doing, drawing and writing. I used to write a lot, all kinds of stuff I used to do, and I just don't do it anymore. And I know it boils down to approval of others or fear, I can't do that anymore. I ain't that young anymore. But really, The danger when you were 8 years old is probably no different than the danger you are at 48 years old. Yeah, your back's probably a lot worse than it was. I know mine is. But, it's sad because we let fear of something ruin everything for us. Fear and worry are just two things that deteriorate our body and our mind and our souls. And we just worry about it, worry about this and worry about that, or fear this and fear that. We never did any of that as children. We feared things and we worried about things, but we had more of a gung-ho attitude. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And we didn't even know that term when we were 8 years old. Some of you might have, but all these things that we don't do now as adults that we love doing as a kid, but we don't do them now because we see them as being dangerous. We're doing extremely more dangerous things by being adults. Driving vehicles. Anybody in America who drives on any road in America can tell you that that's taking your life in your own hand every time. We fly in airplanes. I mean, all these things that we thought were crazy that I can't do on the playground, yet we do all these other complicated things. It's all about, I don't know if I wasn't worried about something when I got off that seesaw. It wasn't like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I'm 8.5 now. My back's killing me, and this is going to hurt my knees when I get older. I wasn't thinking about that. So what was I thinking? What was I thinking? What were you thinking? What were you thinking the last time you went to, let's just say church. You went to church the last time and then you just never went back. Or you went to your favorite store, your very favorite store, and you loved walking around. But then, you were like, what? I can't afford anything in here. I don't know why I always come here. You liked looking at things. You liked window shopping. But then you judged yourself because you couldn't afford something. Or your friends would laugh at you because you'd say, well, why are you going to Gucci? You can't get anything at Gucci. Who cares? If you enjoyed going and looking at Gucci bags and they allowed you to do it without kicking you out of the store, go back to it. I'm not saying it has to be that. I'm just saying it could be anything. What I'm getting at is if you look at the core of it, I'd say probably rough estimate 7 out of 10 times it's going to boil down to you stop doing something because somebody else didn't think it was the right idea. And not because you didn't think it was the right idea. Your parents told you, your friends told you, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your best friend, the people that you thought were your best friends at least, they told you, your church told you, your school told you, somebody told you to stop doing because that's not what adults do, or that's not what, civilized children do. But if it was fun for you and it wasn't hurting you or anybody else, why stop doing it? I don't know. I don't know what any of this really means. I'm just putting it out there. The moral, or not the moral, but the baseline of the story is just think about that. If anybody ever listens to this, after I'm done, just sit there quietly and think about something that you loved doing and when was the last time you did it and why haven't you ever done it again? And the first things that pop in your head, the first things that say, well, you can't do that because of that, you just push that right out of your head. Because that's the thing. I learned something recently about how we want to do so many things for ourselves or for others, but we don't because we let our thought come in, and our thought comes in and kills it. If we go with our intuition or our gut and just do it. And I know you got to be careful with this, but if you think about what I'm saying, like there's a guy that's walking down the road and he sees a lady begging for change and she's asking anybody for quarters. The guy, he reaches in his pocket and he knows he's got a $5 bill in there and he's got a $1 bill in there. And his first thing is like, just give her the $5 bill. But then his thought comes in and goes, we only got $6, man. You don't want to give her that $5. So then he reaches around for the 1 in his pocket and he's like, I'll give her the 1. And he's like, well, I don't know. If I do that, then I only have $5 and I really need to have $6 today. So he's like, oh, you know what? I'll reach in my pocket now and just give her some quarters because that's what she wanted anyways. I'll just give her some quarters. And by the time he realizes that he's only got a dime and a nickel, he's already passed by the lady and can't really go back. So his moral of it is that he kept on letting his thought get in the way. And I do it and you do it. We'll all continue doing it until we don't. We've got to train our mind not to do it. We've got to realize that our intuition, our gut is telling us something that I believe would be our spirit is telling us to do it because you like doing it. And like I said, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, just do it. Like he could have gave her the 5 because he would have got the 5 back. Anybody that has even only $6 in their pocket knows that they can get, if they made that 6, they'll be able to make another 6 somehow. Whereas that lady might not be able to. She was only asking for a quarter. You gave her a 5, you make it in a day. That's a different story. I'm just saying, don't let your thought get in the way of it. Think about the last time you did something that you really enjoyed, and then if it's available to you, do it again. Do it again. If it's not going to hurt yourself or anybody else, then do it again. And even if you're willing to a little bit of risk a little bit, and it's might hurt you, do it. People jump out of airplanes all the time. No reason you can't get on a seesaw. Anyways, this is just another thought by a semi-old man in an old van. Go do that thing.
Until next time, my friends, I ask all people everywhere to plant seeds of love, peace, joy, and oneness.